Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a very factual podcast. We're your hosts, Kayla.
And Isabella, and we had a very interesting Premier League match week this week. We had only 10 teams playing, which means the other 10 teams had a break. And then next week is going to be the opposite. Those 10 teams will play, and these 10 teams will have a break. It's quite weird, but we actually had some really good matchups this week. And the biggest one of all, the most look forward to one, was Manchester United versus Spurs.
Yes, so it was a very anticipated game with Spurs and United ending in 2-2. The first goal was scored early in the game in the third minute by Højlund, giving United early confidence. But just 15 minutes later, Richarlison tied it up for Spurs. It looked as though the first half would end 1-1 until Marcus Rashford put United in the lead just before the whistle. Second half begins and Spurs tie it up yet again in the 46th minute. Full time ended 2-2 with both teams unexpectedly bringing 1 point to the table. And I have to say that overall, Spurs, they did play better. They had more possession, more control over the game, but United played better than I expected. They just kind of let themselves go, like always. And I do have to say something about Rashford. He hasn't been really there this season. He's just been kind of playing, but he hasn't been scoring the goals like he always does. So it kind of surprised me to see that he scored. But also, with the side of the Spurs side, I kind of expected them to kind of fall like to United's level. Oh, it's so sad saying fall to United's level. But because they've been kind of off recently because like their lineups and everything and injuries. But also 2-2, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like 3-2 or 2-1, like a close game, but one of the teams to win.
Yeah, I actually something that really surprised me in this game was the early lead United got. I didn't get to
Mm-hmm.
watch the game, but as I was looking, I got like a notification, right? And it said Rasmus Højlund, third minute. I was like, wait, what? I just really shocked me. I was not expecting it. And I actually think they started off well. I think the first half they were like great. I thought maybe they could get something out of it, but and then in the second half, Spurs scored early and then United folded. And we always
Mm-hmm.
talk about them doing that. And then after Spurs' goal, it was all Spurs. Like they literally dominated everything, shots, possession, and United really faded into the background, which is it's something that they've been doing all season.
Yeah, so United, like you said, they don't normally start off strong, and the third-minute goal is shocking because we normally see them get their wins like very last second goals. And this
Mhm.
wasn't a win, but it was still a point to the table, so it's something. But it was shocking seeing United kind of dominate the game for like the first like 20 minutes, and then as soon as Richarlison scored, they lost all that confidence, which is kind of sad to see because you know that United clearly they have it in them to have that kind of confidence. It's just they don't keep it and Spurs, they kind of took that to their advantage.
Definitely. And then Spurs did this all without, Son. He's at the Asian Cup.
Hmm.
Madison, he's been injured for a while. Kulusevski wasn't in this game, so Timo Werner had to start, which I actually didn't think he did that bad. He got an assist for
Yep.
Bentancur's equalizer, and a big positive of this game is they got Mickey Van de Ven back. He has been probably one of their main defenders, and he got to play with Christian Romero, and I think that's their strongest defensive partnership. So that's good to see back. And then on like United side, you see an average team, and it probably shouldn't be that. I think United probably have like better players if you look at their history and what they've accomplished, but they look really amateur compared to Spurs, and it's really hard to watch them. Like Ten Hag always makes excuses that they could have won. He literally said that they were like the better team in this game. Then why didn't you win? Like you can't just say that. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah, like you said, he's like, oh yeah, we could have won if we did this, we would have won, and he's constantly repeating his excuses. So why
Mhm.
don't you do that? Like,
No, yeah, for real.
I get it maybe once or twice being like, oh yeah, maybe we should have done this. But if you use that excuse, for example, saying like, oh yeah, maybe we should have been like passing like back more, using our field, using this player more, but then
Yeah.
he doesn't do that, then
It
it's all falls back on him. It's leaving United, like you said, as an average amateur team. And Spurs, they're behind a little bit, like because they don't have Sun, they
mhm.
still have a few injuries, but yet they still seem to be like at United's level or even better.
Yeah, like there couldn't have been a better time for United to beat Spurs. Spurs probably have like double the injuries United have.
Hmm.
Like Spurs are a more united side than Manchester United themselves. Like they outpassed them, they outplayed them, and I'm really not surprised how teams easily manipulate United. I feel like that has been a constant thing this whole season, and the difference between these two teams is obvious, and you can definitely tell what side is coached better, and that's Spurs. Because if you look at Spurs from last season, they were horrible, and it's all down to Postecoglou. Because now Spurs, you could say, are title challengers, I guess, top four challengers, and you don't even say that about United. Like I don't think they will get into the top four.
No, I don't either. They've been playing so off this season. And something that I kind of noticed is that like each team, they all have this similar dynamic between the players. Like Spurs, you have to play a certain way to play in Spurs
Oh
because they
yeah,
have their own like special way. Like either you fit in or you don't. And that's how it is with most teams. But United, they don't really have that kind of dynamic within them and they just kind of sign whoever and
yeah.
pray it works, but that's not going to work and they don't have that cohesion in there and it's just kind of like there's some people that that play like this and then other people that play like that and it doesn't work.
Yeah, like you said, there's no like they don't have a plan on who to
Mm-mm.
sign. Maybe it's not as bad as Chelsea, but they signed Anthony. He still hasn't got an assist. And they
Yeah.
signed Jadon Sancho, who they sent back to Dortmund, and he played his first well, he came back to Dortmund. He played his first Bundesliga game in like over 2 years, and he got an assist in that game.
Yep.
And it's just like how come he couldn't do this at United? I don't want to put it down to the player because obviously we could see he could still probably produce. I think it's
Yeah.
down to like this team. Something's wrong.
He clearly did not click there, and it's not just that. It's not just on him. It's because also they don't really have an environment for players to try to click in. It's just kind
Yeah.
of random, like I said. It's just players, and there's no like spot for them to kind of fit in with.
No
It's just
cohesion. There's
they're
no
just there.
cohesion.
They're just there to play, and it's just not going to work. And the fact that Sancho he hasn't been playing for a little while now,
He
like what
hasn't played
two,
since
3 months?
August. Since
Oh, okay,
August.
that's
That's
definitely more than two, three
crazy.
months. That's like 6 months.
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
he hasn't played in that long, yet he just assisted a goal in a league that he has not played in a while. Like
Mm-hmm.
that says a lot about what United could does to some players.
Definitely. Like I don't even know what to say about them anymore. Like I just want to stop talking about them because every
I
time
know.
we talk about them we're so negative, but that's the
That's
only
just
thing you
how they
can
are
do.
now. Like I love United and I still do and I always will, but
Mhm.
just like stop ruining the players.
No, for real. Like, they got new ownership in. Sir Jim Radcliffe, he came in
Hmm.
and he's going to take over like the transfer side. But it's like what Ten Hag is showing him, he's showing him that he's really not worthy. Like,
Yeah,
he came to fix this and then I don't even know. Like, I think what some Sir Jim Radcliffe has to do is get rid of Ten Hag. But then it's like, who do you bring in? That's the only
exactly.
thing.
United needs to find like their Postecoglou, their Arteta.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that, and they haven't had that kind of coach like since Sir Alex, I
Yeah,
think. So
definitely. Yeah.
it's been a little while, and honestly, I don't even know who would fit because, like I said, they don't have that dynamic in the team like Spurs does or like City does.
Another big game in the Premier League this weekend was Newcastle taking on Manchester City, and it definitely lived up to expectations. We had Bernardo Silva opening the scoring for Manchester City. Then in the 35th minute, Alexander Isak scored, and 2 minutes after, Anthony Gordon uh, gave Newcastle the lead. And then after halftime, Kevin De Bruyne came on in the 69th minute and scored his first goal after 5 months out. And then to win the game, Oscar Bob scored Manchester City the late winner in added time. And I said this last episode, Premier League isn't ready for what they're about to see. This is Manchester City's resurgence. Kevin De
Hmm.
Bruyne looks back. He looks so fit. He got an assist in this game. He got one last game. He scored a goal in this game. The whole team looked sharp. They controlled the ball on both halves. And they did this all without Erling Haaland, which is incredible.
It really is. I mean, De Bruyne's scoring was amazing for him since he just got back after what did
Mm-hmm.
you say, 5 months was it?
5 months, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, City was losing a little bit. Newcastle, I have to say, they did play a little bit better than I expected, but
Mm-hmm,
still,
definitely.
like City City, they just still played amazing. Like they had the possession, they had the shots, they dominated like absolutely every single stat. The only thing about City though is that they weren't really like constant in the beginning. They didn't come out as strong as they
Yeah.
normally do. It kind of threw me off a little bit because I was like, oh wait, is this is kind of shocking. But they ended up winning. They ended up getting there, and now they're kind of on the uphill again.
Yeah, the thing is though, something that shocked me the most was that like they brought Kevin De Bruyne off the bench. They have so much squad depth. It's insane. And he
Hmm.
put in such a world-class performance in under 20 minutes, like a goal and an assist under 20 minutes. That's crazy. And we know City's going to go on a run because I feel like they always do it in this kind of time of the season, like the second half of the season. They go on this unstoppable run and no one can catch up to them. I think Liverpool is going to pose the biggest challenge to them. Arsenal look done. Like I don't think Arsenal will be challenging for that title spot anymore. But the only weakness, like I want to kind of pick on City here for a sec, is their defense still. I
Yeah.
feel the goals that Newcastle got were from City's like lousy defensive mistakes. And it looks like the defenders are scared of the other team's pace. Like they back off so much and they give the other team so much room. But the thing is, they need to close teams down. Like Diaz and Ake at center back look to be like the greatest weakness. And something that I have been saying forever is play Joshko Gvardiol at center back in a big game. He played him in an FA Cup at center back, but like how come you won't do it in a big game? Like that is his position. He came here to be a center back. It's his strongest position. He's such a strong defender and he's a real defender. I don't really know how to describe it, but he likes to defend. And I want to see Pep put him in his actual spot. It just bothers me so much, but otherwise I think they did pretty good.
No, yeah, I agree. They did do great. Even though they were losing for a little bit, they brought themselves back up. They didn't give up like we see in
Mhm.
other teams, like for example, United. But City, they are like they have that like step. Everyone's just a little bit scared of them. Like whenever you
Yeah.
play them, you just know that they're gonna be good, even if they're like on the down,
Oh
like in
yeah.
like a dip or something, you know they're still gonna be a threat to you. So I feel like the defense, they should be more confident knowing they're on a club team like that. Like
Mhm.
yes, they are like, you know, a little scared, I want to say. They don't have that confidence,
Mhm.
but they should. There's no reason they shouldn't. Knowing that they're playing for City, who is an amazing team, they should kind of gain that confidence, knowing that also the attackers, yeah, they're going to come in strong, but they're also going to be a little bit scared because it is City.
Yeah, and I want to kind of go and shed some light on Newcastle. I think they didn't play that bad. I think they continue to struggle with injuries, which has been
Hmm.
like their biggest weakness. They have lost their last 4 games. And obviously, if you play City, like you said, it's like if you play City while you're struggling, it's going to be hard because you
Yeah.
know they're good no matter what. I actually didn't think Newcastle did that bad. I think they played till the end and they really put up a fight because they tied up the game. It came down to a stoppage time winner, and like if I was Pep, I would be proud of my team for getting that last minute winner because it's something that they needed. And I think it's going to give them a lot of confidence. And now City are only 2 points off Liverpool, who are at top of the table. And this is going to be it. City are going to win another Premier League title. It's over. Like I call it right now.
No, yeah, I agree. I think they're definitely going to be up there. I think that, like you said, Liverpool will pose a threat. But for Newcastle, they did play amazing. Even though that
Mm-hmm.
they lost, they should still have gained some sort of confidence because, yes, it's a little like annoying that at the end you just lost it because of added time, but also
Mm-hmm.
they kept that tie for a good while. Actually, they
Oh
kept a
yeah.
win for a while in the game.
Yeah.
So that should definitely give them some more confidence throughout future games.
Yeah, this is like the best team in the world that you're playing against. So obviously they're gonna be better than you. And
Yeah.
it was a close game. I'm not gonna lie to you. And like you said, it should give them some confidence. They didn't play bad. It's not like, they let City walk all over them. It was tight, and I think they just have to keep like this form continuing. They need to bring this like throughout the season, and maybe they could get like maybe top 5-ish, top 6 maybe. I'm not sure about top 4 anymore though.
Yeah, Newcastle in top four, I'm not too sure because there's like, uh Arsenal, Spurs. Well, Spurs,
Villa.
I'm not too sure. Villa, yeah, Villa. You know, what was it? Liverpool.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something about Arsenal maybe not posing a threat for the first place.
Hmm.
I agree with that, but I think that they will definitely be fighting for fourth or third place. I think that they're
Definitely.
going to be in the top four, but I just don't know exactly with who. If it'll be like Villa or Spurs or who knows.
Chelsea bounced back after their midweek loss in the Carabao Cup against Middlesbrough with a 1-0 win against Fulham. The only goal of the game came from a late first half penalty by Cole Palmer, and we saw the same Chelsea we've been seeing all season. I feel like we don't expect much from them anymore because we know that they're not going to score like 5 goals. We know like they're not going to really do anything, and I feel like now they're kind of like Manchester United. They kind of rely on luck to get
Hmm.
their wins. Like our only goal of the game came from a penalty, and I've said that penalties for me don't count as actual goals. I mean, and I kind of have to stay true to my word even though it is Chelsea. Like, I seriously don't know what to say because
I
there's
mean,
nothing to say.
yeah, because there is really nothing to say. And honestly, penalty isn't really like a real goal in my book. You didn't really put effort into that. You just kind
Mhm.
of scored, and it's just up to the goalie trying to save it.
And
Sure, there's
and
pressure on you,
sorry, I
but
want to like
go
put
ahead.
like the foul that led to the penalty was on Sterling, and Sterling is
Yeah,
very known for diving. So I
yeah.
don't even know if it was like a true foul, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I feel like this game was just pure luck for Chelsea, like you said. And also, Fulham, they're in 13th, and Chelsea is in ninth right now after their
Hmm.
win. But their places in the table were pretty close. So I did expect kind of a close game. But again, it's Chelsea and Fulham. Like you would just by hearing that, not knowing how they've been doing this season, you would expect
Oh,
Chelsea to just easily
obviously.
win that. But clearly they didn't easily win that. They only won because of a penalty. And honestly, overall, like sure Chelsea did play better, but not by that much. I mean, Chelsea had 14 shots, Chelsea had 17, Fulham had 14. And the possession was almost 50-50. Like, that's really sad to see from a club like Chelsea playing against Fulham.
Yeah, the thing is, we make like half chances,
Mhm.
but we can't convert them, and that's the problem. Like Broya had his shot put wide. Raheem Sterling had a header chance, but it hit the post. And I feel like the only way we can win is mistakes through other teams or fouls that other teams make on us. And I think Cole Palmer is our only bright spark. He always looks like he can score, and every single game he has opportunities where he's like literally so close. And I think we have talent to create something or make something happen, but we just can't play together. Like I don't think we have bad players at all. I think it's just like it's kind of like a United situation. The players don't know how to play together. They don't
Mhm.
really match in the team. We just kind of keep the ball and make nothing of it.
Exactly. And like you said with Palmer, he is like the only goal scorer that they
Mhm.
have. Like you see in like I've mentioned in there's Holland in City and they're still surviving without him. They still have other people
Yeah.
and there's Son in Spurs, but they still have people scoring too. And it's like that Chelsea, they only have Palmer, and he is the goal scorer, but I'm worried he's gonna kind of like burn out like Saka did in
Maybe.
Arsenal because he was scoring, and then now he's like not there anymore because he kind of burnt out a little bit. He's tired, and I don't blame him
Mhm.
because he was like their goal scorer. So at least Arsenal had backups, but Chelsea, they don't really have a backup. It's only Palmer on the field who's really making those goals.
Yeah, I can't imagine Chelsea without Cole Palmer now. Like
Yeah, they
if
would.
if Pep Guardiola didn't make that mistake, I think that is like the only mistake Pep Guardiola has made so far. It's if Pep didn't let him go, I have literally no idea where we would be this season because he is Chelsea's highest scorer this season, and it I just I'm so grateful for him. I just hope he never gets injured or anything because we are going
Yeah.
to struggle, like literally struggle without him.
Because if he does get injured, I have no idea who Chelsea would have as a
No, for
backup. There's
real.
no depth in their team. And we've been shining the light kind of on Chelsea right now in this game. I just have to say about Fulham, they did put up a fight against
Oh,
this
yeah.
against this team. They're like going in, knowing Chelsea hasn't been this good this season, but still playing against Chelsea is a bit nerve-wracking, and they still
Mhm.
did amazing playing against them. Sure, they lost, but by like barely anything because it was just a penalty.
Oh, yeah. I think, Fulham probably could have tied up the game or even
Hmm.
won it. And Pochettino actually said after the game, he made an excuse for why we won so non-convincingly. He said that literally, I quote this. He said something happened before the game that affected our performance. What?
Okay, see, that sound maybe something did happen. Maybe something did, but like that's not an excuse though. If
No.
something like what happened? Someone pushed someone a little
No,
bit?
for
Like
real.
it's
Just
not
say it. Just say it
it's
because
like
everyone is sick of these results.
and here's the thing, it's not like it's like a locker room high school game. You're professionals. What happened before the game to affect you guys that much? Like
Yeah.
this is their performance recently. It couldn't have just been one thing that happened. Even if something did happen, their performance has been constant like this. So you
Yeah.
can't just blame it on that one thing because it just doesn't make sense.
No, for real. We were lucky to win this game, and we have won the last 3 games in a row. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, some of them were kind of convincing, but I feel like the majority were on luck and that we have Cole Palmer.
Yeah, and those convincing ones were honestly just I feel like they were mostly luck. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like they got lucky that they worked together well.
Yeah, and that was like that was the last big game that we had
Hmm.
this week. We had also Burnley playing Luton, I believe, and then we had Everton Villa, which ended 0-0. And next week we have the other 10 teams playing, and I'm so excited to see that, Kayla. How about you?
Yeah, I'm excited to see those games. I have to say that I am excited for Liverpool Bournemouth because I feel like I know Liverpool's gonna win. I just feel like that's gonna be like a really good game though.
Oh yeah, it probably is. And I want to see if like Liverpool can get any higher or if,
Exactly.
it's going to be like super tight and even. But we'll see that next week.
Yep, we will. So that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you everyone for listening. Please follow our Instagram and YouTube at Very Factual Podcast.